Donald Sterling is now threatening to sue the NBA if the lifetime ban against him is not lifted. And the LA Clippers owner is refusing to pay the $2.5 million fine imposed by the NBA. But does he have a chance of winning in court? Let's bring in our legal guys. Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor, joining us from Cleveland. Good to see you.
Hi, Frederica.
And Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor, joining us from Las Vegas. Good to see you as well.
Hi, Fred.
All right, so Avery, you first. Sterling has hired a prominent antitrust lawyer who successfully sued the NFL. So what kind of antitrust argument is Sterling likely to make here?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the antitrust argument because it doesn't interfere with competition. I think, look, Donald Sterling has all the money in the world. He agreed when he accepted the franchise, Frederica, that he was going to be subject to the determination of the commissioner and the board of governors, the owners. And I think ultimately the NBA is going to prevail in this case. I think an antitrust case, in my opinion, is going absolutely nowhere.
So, Richard, why would his attorneys take this route?
Fred, he obviously watched our show last week because I advised him.
Oh, yeah,
had to
that was the reason.
He had to retain counsel to combat all the incoming on him, and he did. He retained a very prominent antitrust counsel in Los Angeles. And what they're going to litigate, and what they're going to threaten to litigate at least, is that whether or not, despite the provisions of the franchise agreement, do the NBA owners and the NBA have the right to ban an owner based on alleged racism? Do they have the right to compel the sale of a property interest? And what they're going to argue in the litigation, if they bring this litigation, is the NBA is acting arbitrary and capricious because it's inconsistent with other acts of owners and players in the past, that it is a conspiracy sounding in antitrust, and that the NBA is not adhering to the rules and regulations of the NBA, in particular Article 13D.
Well, it's much more than that.
Because here, Sterling was set up in an illegal, surreptitious recording
It wasn't illegal. No court has ever heard.
Who illegally recorded him and then published it. He did not publish these comments
But I
himself.
wonder, Richard, I mean, if you're talking about Article 13 and it is talking about the unethical conduct, and then he actually goes on national television, he admits that he made a mistake and that he is very apologetic, only to retract that later. He's already admitting now that he made a mistake and that he violated that conduct, that code of conduct, didn't he?
That's right.
Now, what he said was in a private, personal conversation, he said things that he shouldn't have said, that he regrets saying. But Fred, listen, if you take it in the total context, this is a potential 3 to 5 year bloodbath, millions and millions of dollars spent in litigation. Isn't dialogue, as my friends say, isn't dialogue better than monologue? Shouldn't the parties build a bridge rather than a wall?
No.
Couldn't they structure a resolution here where this multi-billionaire made a substantial donation to minority charities and resolve it?
Time for the multi-billionaire to go. He is affecting sponsors. He's affecting fans. He's affecting the reputation of the NBA, and he's affecting this nation. It's time for him to go.
The nation.
And the Commissioner Richard's doing exactly the right thing here.
And I think we have a sound bite, do we, folks? Mary, my producer? Okay, let's listen to this sound bite, which is a reflection of what Donald Sterling said in the interview with Anderson Cooper.
Right.
I feel it's a little bit harsh, you know, but
Which part
what
of
is the
it?
league supposed to do? They're in a storm, and a stupid owner has created all these problems. They have to show that they're not going to stand for that. The league won't stand for that. They won't stand for racism, I'm telling you. And I did it.
Okay, so Richard, do you want to rethink any of your thoughts upon hearing that now? He says
Frederica,
the NBA
wow.
won't stand for it.
Wow.
He made a mistake. He's admitting racist comments, and so now the NBA says this is what we are going to do.
It's taken out of context, Fred. This was a private, personal conversation.
So he's taking his words out of context himself?
He admitted it.
Yes. We've only heard snippets of an entire hour-long conversation. The man was motivated. It's taken out of context. She was setting him up to extort him. That's what this was
you're
about.
talking like a
He is-
criminal
his
defense lawyer.
actions-
This is a civil
his
matter.
actions do not demonstrate that he is a racist. He gives millions of dollars to the NAACP. The woman is part black.
no.
This is wrong.
But when he
This
comes
is
out in an
wrong,
apology and he
Fred.
says the
Terrible
NBA
argument.
won't stand for racism,
Right.
well, gosh, then he's admitting that he did err, he made a mistake, that he made some racist comments, and he's almost saying that those
Just say
comments were not
Frederica
taken
is
out
right.
of context.
Just say Frederica's right.
He made the context under the guise of trying to go to bed with this woman who was setting him up.
Come on.
That's what he made the comments in. It's
Come
taken
on.
out of context here. This
Okay.
man has not been demonstrated to be
All
a
right.
racist. There's not one allegation that he was racist in the ownership of the
It's
Clippers.
much
Not one
bigger
single
than that.
allegation,
Okay,
Fred.
so but then Avery, the legal road is set, and you know that Donald Sterling makes this admission on national television, and then
Absolutely.
says, you know, upon advising his attorney that now he's going to take this other route, he's not even going to pay the fine. That he
Right.
won't pay the fine, is that now a new, I guess, obstacle that the NBA has to tackle? Can they impose yet another fine, or is there anything to punish him for failing to pay the punishment?
Hey, look, let's force the sale, liquidate it out, give him his money, and get rid of the Sterling family. Look at one thing no one is talking about. LeBron James said, I'm boycotting, and all the legal commentators are saying, oh goodness, there's a contract. Let me tell you something. This is civil disobedience, and I think the moral high ground is for the players to do what they're threatening to do and boycott. And
Really?
man, oh man,
Oh,
that's
my
one
God.
way to get rid
Oh
of
my
this
God.
guy.
That doesn't seem like that's
I
hurting
believe it.
Donald Sterling. That's hurting the players.
Well,
That's
I think they're
absurd.
taking the moral ground by taking a position like that. Good for them.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's the right way to
It's
go.
beyond. That response is beyond absurd, Avery. Isn't
Oh,
there
no,
a sense
no.
of forgiveness
No, you're
in this
forgetting
country?
about Dr.
This
King
is
and
an
civil disobedience,
+80-year-old
and that's what they
man
wanna
who
do
has
here.
demonstrated a history of charity to minorities. Why would you stifle
my
that? Why
God.
would you stop
Oh,
that?
my
The
God.
man will continue till his dying day, give millions of dollars to the NAACP and to minority charities in LA.
okay, yeah.
Why turn him off
because
to
of his
that?
commitment
Why
to
do
civil
that?
rights.
There
Is
is a
that it?
resolution
Because of his
there's an
commitment to civil
amicable
rights.
resolution. There is a bridge that can be built here, Fred, and that's what should happen, not a bloodbath
and this
litigation.
clearly
I don't
underscores just how
buy it for a
complicated this is. It is just not cut and dry, and it seems like this legal
not
fallout
cut and
really is
dry.
going to go on. No, it really does appear to be a
That's
nearly
exactly
impossible
right.
situation. Avery and Richard, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Always good
Always
to see
fun.
you. Always fun. Guaranteed.
Always
fun. Every weekend. Always tune in to see these two
Every
because they
weekend.
are smart and always informative and always fun. All right, the search for victims.